these are police officers. They're adults. They have minds of their own. They can read and take in the same media that we do. I mean, this isn't like they're teaching this to school children. I know that's an entirely different topic. So what's the harm in sharing this with police officers and telling them this is the community that you're going to be interacting with?
Well, I mean, not everyone who's in this so-called community is similarly um, believes in the ideology that this training is putting forth. I mean, for instance, they just the way they talk about sexuality in this document, they talk about being gay is or being gay or lesbian is being attracted to the same gender instead of the same sex. And so this to me is like a form of, I know a lot of gay people who believe this. It's a form of gay erasure. This idea that, we need to use people's preferred pronouns that conflict with their biology. This is coming forward from an ideology that says that whether someone's a boy or a girl or a man or a woman has nothing to do with their physical biology, but everything to do with their internal identity. And I just think that's sort of a bad meme to put in people's heads because it's just untrue. It's ideological. It has a pseudoscientific underpinning to it as well. It's just, I don't think we should be indoctrinating our officers into really highly politicized worldviews, especially if like the individual officers don't themselves ascribe to this view. It's a form of, speech policing, compelled speech on behalf of the government or the specific police department. So I would oppose that.
Did you see anything in the presentation about, addressing the fact that that a male is still a male, and males have a higher prevalence of criminality than females? Did you see anything in there that might make officers aware that just because someone identifies as a female, they're still male and would still have those same criminal patterns potentially?
I mean, all the evidence so far suggests that, just because a male happens to identify as a woman doesn't mean that they necessarily are behaving, and have different, maybe incidents of criminality or types of behaviors they do that is, suddenly equal to that of a woman. We see, in many cases, increased levels of, at least in the prison population, of the males who identify as women. They have overwhelmingly overrepresented in terms of like sexual violence and crimes. So, I mean, part of this training, what was shocking to me is that was the part where it talked about, we need to ask about whether or not this individual has had a type of bottom surgery, have they had genital surgery, to decide what prison we should be taking them to, or what jail they should be going to, or correctional facility, based purely on genitalia and how they identify. Having a certain genital surgery, it might make it more difficult for a certain type of sexual assault to take place, but these are still overwhelmingly much larger individuals. A lot of the trans women, the men who identify as women, who are in women's prisons, are still identifying as they're still attracted to women sexually, and so you can increase the risk if they're put in a facility along with women. There's just so many ways that harm could be perpetuated here when we just break from reality and are just basing everything we do off of a subjective personal identity.
And we talked about that genderbread person slide. What could be the problem with showing police officers the genderbread person slide and the accompanying video?
So there's all kinds of reasons why this could be harmful to kids. I don't think a similar harm exists for maybe full-grown police officers who are exposed to this, but I think it's still like just kind of a religious document and an indoctrination tool, making the same points that is asking, these state workers to essentially agree with this pseudoscientific ideology that is causing harm to, I think, children and younger people. I think it's just a form of sort of ideological compliance they're trying to get these officers, and I just don't think it has any place in a police precinct.
But as much as you've studied this, were you aware that police officers were learning this type of thing?
I don't think I've ever specifically seen it in a police precinct. I just assume it's literally everywhere. I've seen it in fire departments before. I've seen it in grade schools. I've seen it in corporate trainings. So I just kind of assume it's just everywhere because it's been shown to me in places where I would have least expected it. Military training things too. So it does not shock me one bit that this is in police training manuals.